Hello and welcome back to my channel. So this is my week 3 update of Project Me, also jokingly named Be More Steve. If you've not been following me along, this is just a weekly video series. I have 2 goals for 2024. One is to increase my earnings for my writing, the other one is to monetize my YouTube channel, and I have decided to create diaries for both of those just to track my progress and encourage other people as well. So this is my update for my writing that I want to talk about, and I'm currently on week 3, so yay me for actually showing up for a 3rd week, because I struggle so much with consistency, and it's been one of my goals to be consistent. So week 3 update on my writing career with the goal of increasing my income. I'm not going to specifically talk about the actual income figures, but I will give it you in percentages, so it's all relative to you and yourself. And I do have some notes, so if I do look down a little bit, it's just me checking my notes because I cannot remember these figures off the top of my head. So firstly, last week I didn't write as much as I set out to write. I usually have a goal of writing about 25,000 words per week, and it's just been really difficult. It's August, the children are home, it's the summer break from school, they don't go back till September in the UK, so it's just a bit hard to try and get those words in. I have been getting up early to try and write before they're all up, but they've been getting up early too, so you know, I've literally been getting an hour of like solid peace and quiet time to get my words down, and then everything else has been kind of sporadic just through my day, so it's been difficult to hit that goal. And honestly, we've had some really nice days, and my husband normally works weekends, and we've kind of had some job changes in the house, and he's not been working these last couple of weekends, so we've taken the opportunity to just go and do some stuff together. So that's what we've done. And so in that way, I don't regret that I've not written on the weekends, because normally I'd write on the weekends, and I haven't. So that's another reason why my word count's a little bit down. But I've been spending time with the family, we've been going and doing some things together, so it's good. And the point is not to live to work, is it? You work, and while writing is what I call work, it still is bringing me an income. And the whole point of being a full-time writer and being a full-time creator for myself was to free up my time so that I can enjoy the people in my life. And so if I'm sacrificing time when it comes available to write all the time, then it kind of like is out of balance. You've got to prioritize different things at different times. Still getting the words in, but I took the last weekend off. It wasn't even intentional, to be honest. We just ended up doing some things, and I did want to get down and writing, but it just didn't happen because we were just out and about and the weather was nice, and we don't get that very often in the UK. One of the things that has been niggling me though is I am about to finish a book, and when I release that will be, I think, my 3rd release for this year, which is not as many releases as I hope to have had. I think I set a goal of either 6 or 8 books to write for the year. I think it was, I'm not even sure. I don't know. I'd have to check. And I'm not where I want to be with that. I haven't been able to get as many words in as I would like, and not any releases, and most of that is just because one of the books I'm writing is an absolute monster to write. It needs a lot of planning and a lot of outlining, and to be honest, I've kind of kept putting it off, so driving myself mad with that. But as a consequence, I've not published as much as I would like to. And there are only 4 months left of the year. Well, just over 4 months left of the year. Ideally, and I know this is supposed to be a week update and I'm talking about the year, but this is just the way it goes. Ideally, I would like to get the next Alex Rogan book out, another book out in my other pen name that I have, and then this monster book. So I'd like at least another 3 releases, and that would make it to 6 for the year, and I would be happy with that. But we'll see how we go, because the monster book is going to be the problem. The Alex book and the other book, I can write those pretty fast. Also, I have my Once Upon a Demon book, which I really want to write. This is the problem. There is not enough time to write all the books I want to write, and I have so many ideas and so many books, and it's just like, even when you're full-time, you still have this problem. I think I mentioned it in my last video that I'd taken on some freelance work, which is really super exciting, and I've been really enjoying that work, and I can do that in the day with the kids around. That's no problem. I'm using a MacBook, I can move room to room, and that's easy enough, and I've been really enjoying that. The funny thing is is that isn't hindering my work. In fact, that is actually making me work better, because I know I have this freelance work to do in the day. So I've been getting up to write, and I've written more because I know I can't waste my time. So I can't go on social media, I can't check emails, I can't answer messages. So I know that when I've got 3 hours of writing time, that I have to use those 3 hours of writing time. And then the other benefit of having the freelance work is because I'm doing the writing in the morning and then the freelance work, it's actually giving me a cut-off point at the end of my day to actually enjoy my day. So it's one of those really weird things where I've added more work, but it's made my day easier because I'm actually getting evenings as downtime. So I'm able to maybe watch some TV, maybe read books, play some video games. It's actually felt really good, and my brain feels a lot better with having this work, because I am not wasting all my time through the day and then working super late into the evening and just working from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. So that's been really cool this week. I have finished reading the 7-Figure Fiction book, which is by Theodora Taylor. If you've not read it, I highly recommend it. It's only a short book. She talks about universal fantasies, and these are different to tropes. These are the universal fantasies, like opposite worlds, being taken out of your world is one she comments on. Beauty and the Beast all the time. Grey's Anatomy is one of the ones she uses, and all the what she calls butter. It's the universal fantasies are the butter, but she talks about them, and it's the little fantasies that we all have that aren't actually tropes. So, you know, you've got the elf hole who is an arsehole to everybody else, but not to you, kind of thing. That's the kind of thing she's talking about. So I finished that, and because of that, I messed around with my description on my vampire book, the one that I have the Facebook ads going to. And I don't know if it's just coincidental of time or because of my tweaking, adding butter to my description on Amazon, but my sales went right up within a couple of days afterwards, and that was fantastic. I apologise if you keep hearing noise. It appears that the workmen have started outside again. That seems to be a thing. But I was saying, I have updated my description using what she calls butter and these universal fantasies, and since then my sales have increased, and like I said, I'm not sure if it's a coincidence or if it's that, so we'll see. However, I've picked up a new book, so I decided that my next book I'm going to read is Tammy Labrat's Newsletter Ninja book. I saw her speak in 20 Books Vegas in November last year. She was amazing. I took loads of notes and it was great. I've not been able to do anything with those notes, and I was like, right, come on, sort the newsletter out. I used to be the kind of person that emailed my newsletter out every week, was on a routine with it. Like every Sunday I'd sit down, I would write it, it would go out Monday morning, and it was great. And I kind of lost what I was doing. This was like kind of early COVID time. I was on a real good routine with it, and then I ended up skipping a newsletter and going to 2 weeks, and then skipping another one, and it's just got to the point where I haven't sent an email out to my readers in months and months now, and it's kind of hard and weird to start it back up. So I was like, right, I'm going to go and read this book. And in the front of this book is a foreword from David Gogren, where he talks about not sending newsletters out and how he only sends newsletters and emails out when he has a new release, which is kind of where I've fallen into. But then he says that's like we're literally just showing up when we want money off our readers. And I totally agree with that. That is like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So I'm just reading that book, and she's talking about being, you know, yourself, sharing yourself with your readers, which is really cool. It fits in with the whole share your work philosophy, or show your work book from Austin Kleon that I have. So I'm reading that book now with the view of improving my newsletters, but I'm hoping that it'll have the knock-on effect of improving my social media use, because I often get this imposter syndrome of who's going to want to hear from me, and then I don't send anything or post anything. So yeah, so that's good. I definitely recommend the 7-Figure Fiction book, and I will probably recommend the newsletter book when I've finished. So my goal for this week is to finish my book. I literally have a chapter to go and to get some edits on it, and I would like to get 20,000 word count, and that's going to be on my other books that I'm working on, because I like to work on lots of books at the same time. But my main goal is to finish and edit the book that the main one I'm just on right now, but numbers. So I'm going to have to look at this for that. So what I have done when I've compiled these numbers is I have compared this last week to the same week of July, and then the beginning of July to the beginning of now. So as I record this, we're a couple of weeks into August, so it's a couple of weeks into July. So just to give you some comparative figures and the things that have changed and that I've done to increase my income. So for this past week, so the same week in July as the week now, basically the same Monday to Sunday thing, my income has been 19.5% higher. As I said, I'm not going to give you the figures, I'm going to give you the percentage, so you can make this all relative to yourself. Yeah, so for the week, the comparable week, I'm 19.5% higher than I was of this week in July. And so far for August to this time in July, my income is 16.8% higher than it was this time last month, which is great. It's an increase now. However, my ad spend has changed. So this month so far, I have spent 27.8% less ad spend than I did this time last month. For some reason I didn't work out the figure of the week, but for the 2 weeks anyway, it's 27.8% less. I think it works out about 23% less that so for this week, with the difference in the ad spend and the difference of what I earned, my profit is 91.95% higher this week than it was in the comparable week in July. So for August and July, so if I compare, because literally I'm halfway through the August, so half to the same date in July, I have spent less this month than I did last month, which has increased my profit. So my profit has increased this month by 146.33% compared to this time last month, if that makes sense. So I have more than 100% increased my income. Now, there are two reasons for that. The first week of July, I didn't have any ads running because I'd just come back from the SBS conference and was retaking the Matt Holmes Facebook ads course. And then the second week, I was running 2 DCTs for my vampire book, and the adverts were in the learning phase. So ad spend would be a little different. This time in August, I have changed the description, as I said, on my ads, and that seemed to have hopefully had an effect because I saw an increase in sales. And it actually worked out that after I changed my description, the increase of sales, I think last week or the week before, it was for every £1 I spent, I was getting £2.10 back. And it's working out now this week that for every £1 I spend, I'm getting £3.08 back, which has been, and that's been since I updated the description using the Universal Fantasies, which has been really amazing. But like I said, there were differences. I had 2 DCTs running in learning phase and 1 week of no ads last month, and this month I have turned off one of those DCTs because when I looked at the Amazon attributions in my Amazon account, there was a clear winner as to which DCT was working, so I turned off the other DCT, which basically halved my ad spend. I did top up a couple of pounds on that ad, and I've yet to scale it because Matt Holmes has re-recorded his course, so I want to go back and listen to his re-record of the scaling and turning on and off DCTs, because I've noticed that's the bit one of the bits he's updated before I go messing, which is fine. Like I say, my profits are up 146%, so I'm not too worried rushing about that, but obviously I would like to see it grow. But it means that because I turned one of my DCTs off, I have some budget left over, so I'm going to scale my winning DCT, as it would be called. But I'm also debating on either putting an ad out for the UK market of my vampire book, because I only have it advertised to the USA at the moment, or putting an advert to my werewolf book. So at the moment there's no ad on my werewolf book, and it does actually have more books to it, so there would be a bigger read through. When I spoke to my husband about this, he was saying I'd probably be better to put a USA advert on my werewolf book because there's a big read through and I can maybe raise the income on that. So I think that's probably the way I'm going to go, and I hope that bit wasn't confusing. But yeah, week 3, and I've had a really good increase on my profits with my ads running. I would also like to pick up my TikToks. I've still not managed to do that, and that's just because of time and brain power. I tend to do slideshows for my TikTok, and what I want to do is take the knowledge that I've learned from the 7-figure fiction book and put that into the hooks on TikTok, and I just haven't had the time to sit down and do that yet, and I'm hoping to do that this week and then can kind of get a roll of TikToks going. So yeah, that's my update for week 3. increasing profits, finished my book, didn't hit my writing goal. I think I actually wrote about 18,000 words, which is not too shabby. My goal was 25,000 words. Yeah. Next week is read the Newsletter Ninja book, look at putting my werewolf book into advertising, no, scale my vampire book advert, and write, as always. So I hope that was informative, and I shall leave it there, and I shall see you next week.